Got it. Okay.
All right. Hey, everyone, and welcome to Chef AJ Live. I'm your host, Chef AJ, and this is where I introduce you to amazing people like you who are doing great things in the world that I think you should know about. Well, my guest today is Dr. Gustavo Tolosa. He's also known as the Plant-Powered Pianist, and he's going to be making a very famous recipe of his called the Potato Supreme as part of the Ultimate Vegan Health and Weight Loss Bundle that he is in. Please welcome him to the show. Hey, how you doing? It's nighttime where you are.
Hello. Well, it's still sunlight because it's summer in Argentina. So it's still.
I just never understood how it can be one season here and one season there, but
below the equator, it just is the opposite. So
that's so interesting. So tell us about your offering in the bundle and what you like about the bundle.
Yes. Well, the bundle. Oh my goodness. I mean, I see it as the best of 2022 in the whole food plant-based world. The best of 2022. Chef AJ went out there and got the best and put it all together with the help of her team, and we have something that is like you say, something is a no-brainer. How can you not get this wealth of practical information? You're buying basically one thing, and you're getting all of this incredible, offerings that people like Dr. McDougall and Dr. Furman, and so many others, incredible. So thank you. I feel honored and super excited to be included this year in the bundle. And I think that you have my link there in case anybody.
I did. I put it both in the chat and in the show notes.
So we can talk more about the bundle as I cook, because I want to make sure that it's done before the show is over, and it should be, because it's like 5 minutes. That way I can try it and show people what it looks like. So in this bundle, I also do every other month a program that is called the 7-day Detox and ReSET Program, where we meet for a week, 3 times a day, breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and I show people how it's not supposed to be complicated. We human beings like to complicate things, but this following the whole food plant-based, SOS-free diet is not easy and it's not expensive. So in the offering that I have in the bundle has 6 of my most, I think, first of all, simple and delicious. So I like to put those 2 words together, simply delicious. And so I'm going to make my signature dish, which I'm a little nervous because it's like giving away my best of all. But I am glad I'm giving it away tonight for anybody who's watching, because I want them to try it. Everybody who's tried it loves it, and it's good for breakfast, lunch, or dinner, and it's the perfect combination of starch and other things in it. So I'm going to make it in the Instant Pot because it's faster, but it can easily be made in a regular pot on the regular stove. So can I, Chef AJ, just turn off my camera for a few seconds so I can move my...
Sure.
That way people are not going to get sick while I move the camera here. And so this, I call it a meal idea because it really is not a recipe. It's just 3 or 4 ingredients only. And so here's the Instant Pot, okay? And I have put half a cup of water here, just enough for it to gather pressure. So we have onions, potatoes, and garlic. Okay, what else? It's the best. And there is an optional ingredient that I'm going to show you. So what I'm going to do, that's half a cup of water. I don't want it to be a soup. I want it to be more like a casserole kind of thing. So this is how thick I have cut my onions. They need to be kind of thick for it to work, okay? So I'm going to do 1 layer And you can see here, you see the thickness, 1 layer of onions. This is white onions. That's what I usually, yellow onions. That's what I usually use. I guess you can make it with white. I haven't really made it with red onions. I think that it works better this way. So I just make sure that the bottom is all covered with onions. And so I have them in different sizes here. And so now that's it. So we're gonna make layers. That's what's fun about it. The next layer is the potatoes. The potatoes are also cut thick, okay? Otherwise they will disintegrate, and we need to be able to see all the things that we're eating, basically. So that's the potato. I'm going to make a layer of potatoes. If you were using a regular pot, you're going to do the same. Now you're probably going to ask how many potatoes and how many onions. That's totally depends on the size of your pot. So you have to have potatoes peeled and onions sliced. Maybe start with 4 and then see if you need more. So that's my layer of potatoes. Now I'm going to do 1 more layer of onions. Okay, I know that this looks like a lot of onions and a lot of potatoes, but you will see, because this only takes 4 minutes in the Instant Pot. So you're going to see how the onions release so much water that you don't need any more water, and then you can barely find them. Then you're going to wonder, why didn't I put more? That's what happened to me. So that's why I'm totally covering each layer. And this is the optional ingredient now. One day I had a red bell pepper and I decided to, you see, it's also thick. So I'm going to do a layer of red bell pepper. Sometimes I do a layer of carrot when I don't have bell peppers. And sometimes I don't even do this. It's just the potatoes, the onions, and the garlic. So now this is totally covered with the red bell peppers here. And so now another layer of the thick potatoes. I want to make sure that I cover every little area here, every little hole. And this, believe me, it looks like a lot, but it is so delicious that it's not going to last a whole lot. It really isn't. So now comes the fun part. I love garlic, so I'm going to put, this is 2 entire garlic heads, and I didn't chop it, it's only peeled. So I'm going to cover, I'm going to do a layer of garlic. I could put more. You can see that it's barely there. So, and that's 2 whole heads of garlic, and you can barely see it. And so now I will finish it. You can finish it with any layer. I'm just going to finish it with 1 layer of onions. And now the best ingredient that I think that you should not skip is you've got to cover this with chopped celery. I don't know what it does really, but it adds the final touch. It makes it so delicious. I don't think cilantro would work because it's too strong. So I've chopped parsley here. This is chopped parsley, and unfortunately it's not enough, but that's what I had from my garden. I like to totally cover it with chopped parsley. So what we're going to do is put the lid on the Instant Pot and set it for 4 minutes. And because I want everything to be soft enough to eat, but I don't want it to fall apart and make mashed potatoes. So I'm going to press the manual and go, let's see here. Okay, I was making something earlier, so it was on 25. So I'm going to go down to 4 minutes. And so it'll take a few minutes to gather the pressure. And then it will start counting the 4 minutes, but I think it will be done before our show is over. I'm going to turn off the camera one more time while I talk to you. And let me show you this other pot that I use sometimes. Okay, so if you want to make less, and this is my microphone here, you can use something like this, okay, on the stove. It doesn't need to be kind of deep, so that you will have at least 4 layers of this. I like to make it in a clay pot that I have. So you will make your layers. You will put, instead of half a cup of water, you probably have to put 3/4 of a cup, or it could be vegetable broth. And then you're going to have to cover it, and it has to be on low. So this way, if you make it this way, this is going to take more like 45 minutes, not 4 minutes, okay? So it just takes longer when you make it in the regular pot, but it's delicious as well. So we'll see. I think it's going to be done in the time, and I can try it for you. And one thing I wanted to mention, AJ, is that I want to talk about this for a second. I've heard a few people mention that, oh, the bundle is overwhelming. I don't know I don't know whether I should get it or not, because I don't know if I can read all of it, and it just overwhelms me. And so I just tell people, once you get it and you download it, it's yours forever. It's for forever and ever. Okay, so you can look at 2 PDFs per week. I mean, some of these, like mine, it will take you half an hour to look at it. So you can look at 2 or 3 a week, and then in a few months, you can take it easy. I think that we're all used to having this hectic lifestyle, and we think that we have to do everything now, every day. And so if you feel like this is overwhelming, take it easy, get it, because the important part is to get it, because as you know, AJ, we are not saying that February 12th is the last day and then we will give an extension. It really is the last day to get it. And once that day is over, you cannot get it anymore, even if you beg, AJ.
You beg and plead.
it's gone. Okay, so you've got to get it. Okay, so it's truly it's the best, AJ, and you've done such an amazing job putting it together.
Melissa really put it all together. I just got the people, but it is a beautiful bundle. I wish people would just click on the link to see what's in there.
What I've been telling the people that I know is, okay, I don't even, fine, if you decide that that's enough for you, but at least take a look at it. That's all I ask you. Take a look at it and decide for yourself. But it's worth at least looking at because what I think one of the really interesting things is that there is something for everyone. I was seeing something for busy moms who have kids, something for kids that are picky eaters, and there's something for if you know somebody who has autism, and there's something for people that want like what I'm offering, simple meals that have 3 or 4 ingredients you put together, they taste delicious. Then there's exercise, some really good exercise programs. I mean, there really is something for everybody. So I wanted to mention that. And maybe this will help people. What I've been whole food plant-based, not as long as you, AJ, but 10 years now. So this is an anniversary for me. I went to the McDougall program in August of 2013. So in August, it's going to be 10 years. And boy, have I enjoyed this journey. mostly because I regained my health and lost weight. But I've met so many wonderful people throughout this journey. Of course, with you, we've done so many things that I've enjoyed, you and Charles. But during this 10 years, I've listened to people. Well, I've listened to myself because I've learned a lot about myself and my relationship to food, with food. But one thing that is really interesting, I don't know if you've noticed this, AJ. When we say whole food plant-based, let's leave the SOS-free now, because let me just focus on whole food plant-based. I've noticed that people missed the first letter. They the whole, So that's when they say, "Oh, I've been doing this for a year, and I do everything, that you," and they're buying processed. Yes, it's vegan. Some of it is plant-based, but the fiber has been taken out. The water has been taken out, or one of them has been taken out, and they're missing on the whole. And I think that is so important, because unless we eat full in as much a whole, version of it as possible, like what I just did. You can recognize the potato, you can recognize the onion and the peppers. That is one really big roadblock for people. And as I've been able to help quite a few people, I've noticed that when we focus on that, all of a sudden, woof, they start having success. So I don't know about, have you noticed?
Yeah, because you're exactly right. They say they eat whole food plant-based, but it's not whole. I mean, even if you want to get technical, bread and pasta are not whole foods.
Right. They're not whole foods, because there is no tree that gives bread or pasta.
Or maple syrup or agave or oil. Yeah.
Right. So it's very interesting. And then, of course, another thing that deters people, I think, from succeeding is getting confused, because I don't know, to me, I guess it was an instinct, or because since I attended the 10-day program in person with McDougall, I don't know, maybe I was really focused when I left, but I wasn't listening really to 20 different voices out there. One that said to eat this, one that, don't eat that. People are listening to so many contradictory ideas that I think that at some point we all have to decide, okay, who is the person that makes the most sense and that makes this doable in the long run. For me, it was McDougall, and then later, after I got established, I started looking at others, and assessing, myself. And but listening to too many people at the same time, especially when you don't have yet a background, a good, strong background, and really like Dr. McDougall, that gives you the science, the real studies, it can really be confusing. And yeah, that's not good. So, and then one more thing that I noticed that kind of keeps people from achieving their goals is thinking that eating whole food plant-based is expensive, because I've heard that several times. I've seen it on Facebook groups. And again, it's because they're going to buy the ultimate burger or some other product that is expensive, instead of just buying plain potatoes and sweet potatoes and onions and beans and rice, the things that are the least expensive. So I know that we've said this a lot of time, but we always have new people that join these broadcasts, and I think it's important to repeat it. So anyway, I don't know if people have any questions about the bundle or what I'm offering, or the recipe or the meal that I just did, but I can answer anything, or if you, AJ, has any
There's a
questions?
great comment by Daria who says, cancel Netflix, buy the bundle and watch for the rest of the year, and you've saved lots of money and you'll actually learn something.
Yes, that's right. Some, the bundle is $49. Is that what it is?
$49.
$49, yeah. And right now, with all of the offerings that we have, there is over 6,000, right?
There's over 120 offerings, but it's worth almost 6,500.
Almost
If
$6,500.
you were to buy everything separately. I mean, there's courses in there that are $200, $300, $400,
Right. And we have to say that these courses actually exist and people buy it. It's not that we created these products and overpriced them so that they can look good. No, these are products that have been sold and will continue to be sold separately, but people have the chance right now to get it all for just $49.
It's a pretty sweet deal.
Yeah, pretty sweet deal. So anyways, I think that focusing on whole food will save money, so that if people think that this may be too expensive, they will get this money back the next day, because they will start buying things that are not expensive to eat. And
especially if they take Tammy's batch cooking course.
Yes, that is a wonderful course, and I really admire. When I see what she makes, and it's so beautiful, all what she makes. And what I do, people ask me if I do batch cooking, and sometimes I do, but it's not something that I do all the time. What I do, what works for my schedule, is that anytime I make something like this, I double it or triple the recipe, and that way, as I cook every day or every other day, I start accumulating food that it's either in the refrigerator or in the freezer. So it's kind of like a batch cooking, because I have to cook whenever I have time. And so some days I have time to cook only one meal. So I'm eating the things left over from the previous day. And I don't know, let me see how many more minutes we have. Well, I don't know if we have 7 minutes left.
That's okay. If we get a little bit over, it's okay, but.
Okay. If it is not done by then I will, maybe
you have one that's already made? You know how they do that on TV cooking?
I was going to do that. I was really going to do that, but then I thought, no, this is 4 minutes. It should be done by then, and so I didn't do it. But I was going to mention. During these 10 days that the bundle is being offered, what I decided to do is every day I'm doing a Zoom video live where I cook one simple recipe, so that people who attend will end up with 10 recipes or meal ideas, like I call them. It's free. There's no cost for that. So if anybody wants to attend that, they can. I forgot to send you the link. I could email it to you now, or they could email me. They just have to register on Zoom and or go to my Facebook page and get it from there. But after each night, then I go ahead and put it on my YouTube channel anyway. But I thought that would be fun. These are all my own meals. And so each night at, let's see what time it is, at 5 p.m. Pacific, I do this free cooking demo. And
wow. Karen wants to know, what is Dr. Gustavo Tolosa a doctor of?
Yeah, I'm a doctor. It's called DMA, Doctor of Musical Arts. And I am a concert pianist, and that's really my main career. I've been most of my life a college professor, and but I also had the I was lucky enough to have a really good career as a concert pianist and travel throughout the world. And so that's been really good. And I continue to do that. It's just that you all know after the COVID, everything stopped. But that's where it is. And I went to the University of Rochester in Rochester, New York. I don't know if you know this, Ajay, but the Harvard for music, the place where all musicians want to go, is the Eastman School of Music in Rochester, New York. Musicians from all over the world apply there, thousands, and they only choose a handful. And I applied because I wanted to go, because you have to go on audition in person. And so I wanted to see this magical place where musicians from, all sorts of venues have gone throughout history. So I wanted to go there and see it. So I went to audition. And then a few months later, when I got the letter of acceptance, I almost died. I still remember that day. I went outside into the street. I was living in California, and I screamed for like half an hour because it was amazing. So I got to go there, and so that was great. And then a few years later, my health started to deteriorate, and that's when I found the whole food plant-based way of eating, and has become my second, or my other passion. I wouldn't say second, because it's another passion. I know that without health, I couldn't do anything. So it should be my first passion. My first passion, yes.
Have you ever played at Carnegie Hall?
Well, I have not played at Carnegie Hall. So that's one of the, I hope I can do that before I depart from this world.
That would be amazing.
Yeah. I've played in a lot of really, really nice theaters in all over the United States, but I've never really tried. I should just, I've had a student of mine who's played there, but I haven't. So.
Wow, that just must make you feel proud to have a student that played there.
Yes, and I even have a certificate that says that it shows my name, and it says my student played there. So I was very proud of him. He worked really hard to do that.
Oh, great.
Well, let me take one more look and see how many minutes we have left. I don't think it's going to be done, AJ, because the volume is so full that when it's done, I will take a picture. But I don't know if we can put this anywhere.
Do you think if you had started with hot or boiling water, it might have gone faster?
Maybe, yeah. I'm sorry. I really thought that it was going to be ready. How can I do this? Will you be able to send me this?
I can send you this video when it's done.
Okay.
And
so when it's done, what I'm going to do
is. Did it
is
come up to pressure yet, though? Like, is the clock ticking on it, or it has not come up to pressure?
No, it's not ticking. It's about to, because I hear the noise.
Well, we can give it a couple more minutes. Just let's, Yeah,
we can.
You want to play a song? Is your piano nearby?
It is nearby, but I have to move too much stuff to go there. Aww. No, we could just, I don't know. We could chat. I don't know what we can, but what I can do is that after you send me this video, I will attach at the end when I open it and I take it out, and I will put it in my channel, or I can send it to you. I don't know.
That would be great. You're welcome to do what you like with it. That's fantastic.
That way people at least could see it. And I don't know if you can hear it, but it's now coming up to pressure, but it's going to take another, I don't know, 7-8 minutes, I think. And so we're going to run over.
Do you ever use polenta in your cooking?
Well, I use it very seldom because it is a more processed food. And but this is what I do, and that's another one of my recipes. I don't use it in my 7-day program, but I do use it, when I do regular whole food plant-based. My grandmother, who was from Spain and she lived with us all our lives, she used to make this baked polenta, and so it's delicious and it's easy. You cook the polenta according to the package instructions. And the secret is in the sauce. So I make this tomato sauce, like spaghetti sauce, but I add mushrooms because I like mushrooms. Of course, it has onions and tomatoes. I like to use the fire roasted tomatoes, and it has red bell peppers as well, and a little bit of grated carrot to cut the acidity of the tomato. So the sauce is really good. I mean, it has oregano, things like that. And so what you do is, in a glass pan that you can put in the oven, you put a very thin film, a thin layer of the tomato sauce, and then you put a layer of the polenta, another layer of the tomato sauce, another layer of the polenta. Then I have sauteed kale or spinach with onions and more mushrooms and garlic, and I put a layer of that, then another layer of polenta, and then I ended with a layer of the tomato sauce. And that goes in the oven at 375, and it goes for about 45 minutes. Or to your desired brownness that you want it on top, so it gets kind of crunchy. And then you take it out, you let it cool for a little bit, and you just slice it, and it is kind of like a lasagna, I guess, but it's delicious. So that's the polenta. Do you use polenta?
I started making something that I want to call a polenta pizza. It's really, I call it I started because I teach in the McDougall program, and every now and then I like to create a recipe, and I'm calling it artichoke polenta bake. And it's sort of like a pizza. There's a base of polenta, and then I put a layer of pesto, and then I put like artichokes and things in a marinara and I bake it. And it's fantastic. It's so quick to make polenta. It cooks very quickly.
Quick. Yes. And I was surprised to see it. Last year, I went to True North. I try to go once a year because, well, I love it. And Chef Bravo had polenta for breakfast. So, and it had apples and bananas or something. So it was sweet and it was delicious. I think that it is, hold on. Well, it is definitely on pressure, but it's barely started at 4 minutes, so it's gonna.
I'll give you a few more minutes.
All right. Well, probably from this moment, it's gonna take 4 minutes, and then it should be.
People are dying to see it. If you run out of polenta, can you substitute cornmeal? Do you know?
Well, cornmeal is just a little more coarse. You know that polenta is very fine. I think it's one step, up. It just has one more step of processing, I think. I don't know. But I think it can be, definitely can be, it can be substituted. I think that for the baked polenta that I make, I like the polenta actually, and I don't like the cooked polenta that they sell at the supermarket that is like that.
Yeah, like in a tube.
No,
right.
Basically, you boil water, and then you can turn off the heat or go very to the lowest, and then you start adding a little at a time, because otherwise it will get all lumpy. Very little, and you stir it slowly, and then it's cooked. And I like to make it, instead of water, I like to use vegetable broth, so it gives it a little extra flavor.
Here's a question from Karen. She wants to know, from Melanie. Can Gustavo speak to the power of music and healing? Are there any composers that are his favorite?
Yes. Many, maybe I don't know, but I started about 10, 12, no more, 12 years ago, I started a nonprofit organization called Musical Angels, in which we go to children's hospitals and teach them how to play the piano with a keyboard or the guitar or another instrument while they are in the hospital. Some of these kids are in the hospital for 9 months waiting for a transplant or something, or going through chemo. And we go every single week and give them a lesson. And the things that I have seen there are truly miraculous, because I remember going in a room where a child had a stroke and could not move a hand. And I didn't know that. So I put the keyboard and I played the song, and he was so excited to hear it. And all of a sudden, he lifted his hand, and to me, I saw that he was doing it slowly, but that he was doing it. And at that moment, the nurse came in, and she almost fell over because they had been trying to see if he could move an arm, and they had for a long time, and he couldn't. But because he wanted so badly to play that song, he was able to move his arm. And I had similar things with other kids that had also strokes that couldn't show emotion, for example. And so at the lesson, they were able to smile because they were so happy. And another patient I had who had leukemia, he said to this day that music was what really saved him, gave him hope week to week. So the healing power of music is real. And of course, there is a profession that is called music therapy. And music is very powerful. We all know how music can bring emotions and make us cry or laugh, or, so, and yeah, I definitely believe that. And of course, one of the most well-known composers for creating extra synapses in the brain is Mozart. Mozart's music has been scientifically analyzed with computers and with different studies. And for adults, when you listen to Mozart's music, there it is.
There it is, yay!
Your IQ is actually higher than when you stop listening to the music as when you started. Of course, afterwards, 2 hours later, then your IQ goes back to what it was. But in a child, it makes a difference. So let's see. Hold on. Let me move the camera here, and we'll take a look at the Potato Supreme. You recognize that sound? We're letting.
I love it.
Yeah, okay. So I brought this with me in my hand to Argentina, even though they have pressure cookers here, but they don't have the Instant Pot, and I love my Instant Pot, and it's 10 years old. So, because here the electricity is 220, I had to buy a, a transformer, so that when I plug this, it's not gonna explode. So that's what I had to do, but I just couldn't live without my Instant Pot. I only add pepper, and I don't use salt, but I use this, which I love. I just can't believe that when you put this in the food, it tastes salty, but it doesn't have any salt. So do you use this, Jane?
Yeah, it's good, isn't it?
It is. For a long time, I heard about Benson's Table Tasty, and I just don't know why I didn't order it. And only recently I ordered it, and I just cannot get over it, because I read the label yesterday because I thought there's something, I don't know, there's something here, because it really tastes salty. So if you miss the salt, I think that's a good substitute. All right, so let's pray that it always works for me for 4 minutes. Let's just make sure that it did this time. Otherwise, I'm just gonna have to put it back for 2 more minutes, but I don't think so. I think it is done. So let's see. Okay, there you go.
Yum.
Oh my God. You will not believe this until you make it. It's so simple, but it's so delicious. So what you do is you just test it. Let's see. Yeah, it's done. 4 minutes. Well, until it gathers pressure, it's more like maybe 8 or 10 minutes. So the first bite is always a little more messy, but then it comes out in layers. And there it is. And you can see how there's, it's not like there are so much, there is onion, but it has cooked down. There it is. So I am going to add some of this, and I'm going to move back to the table here so that I can give it one quick sample and make sure that it is as delicious as always. And like I said at the beginning, I have had it for breakfast because sometimes I really want something savory. And the only thing that will make this meal perfect is some kind of greens, which I always have. I saute some kale with onions and garlic, and sometimes mushrooms, and that makes it just perfect. So here we go. Look at that. See?
That looks like a delicious meal.
So I'm going to get a bite with the potato, the onion, the parsley, and the garlic here. I think that's the perfect bite.
And I got some of everything in it, huh? All right, looking good.
Russet potatoes work, I think, the best. You can cook it with the skin or without it. So I hope that you guys will try this and that somehow you will let me know. My website is plantemas.com, and you can send me a message from there. I would like to hear from you. And enjoy and take a look at the bundle, okay? Take a look at the bundle.
Absolutely. Thank you, Gustavo. This was a delicious and easy recipe. Oh, I saw one more. Sorry, before I let you go, there was one more question. Can you use grits, I'm guessing, instead of polenta? I think it's different. Yeah. You can.
It is different. The grits is way more coarse than polenta. Polenta is more fine. I think it's grits is what we eat in the South in Texas.
In the south of Argentina.
Yeah, no, not in the south of Argentina. The south is
All right. Well, thanks so much, Gustavo. This was great, and we'll see you very soon for your regular show, Breakfast, Lunch, and Dinner.
Okay.
All right. Thanks, Gustavo. Check out his link below and get the bundle from Gustavo. And thanks all of you for watching another episode of Chef AJ Live. Please come back at 5 for our last show of the day. Raw Chef Yin is making Chinese fried rice, raw and vegan. That should be great.